Mysterious music plays softly as the video opens with shadowy images of ancient medical instruments, juxtaposed with glowing, futuristic medical devices. Welcome to the realm where science fiction dissolves into reality, where the impossible becomes routine, and where the mysteries of the human body surrender to technological ingenuity. I'm your guide into the enigmatic world of medical technology breakthroughs, innovations that have rewritten what we once believed were the immutable laws of human health and mortality. For centuries, our species existed at the mercy of biological forces we could neither see nor understand. Today, we stand at a precipice of transformation so profound that it challenges our very understanding of what it means to be human. The technologies we'll explore today don't merely treat disease. They redefine our relationship with our physical form. What you're about to witness is the story of how humanity has crafted tools that peer into our innermost secrets, machines that extend our lives, and devices that blur the boundary between flesh and technology. These are not mere incremental improvements. They are quantum leaps that have fundamentally altered the trajectory of human existence. Each breakthrough we explore has, in its own way, defied what previous generations considered the limits of possibility. Each innovation carries within it a kind of magic, not supernatural, but the equally mysterious power of human ingenuity pushed to its furthest boundaries. Let us begin our journey with perhaps the most fundamental transformation, the ability to see inside the living human body without opening it. The history of medical imaging is a chronicle of progressive enlightenment, of darkness giving way to revelation. In 1895, Wilhelm Röntgen discovered X-rays, casting the first dim light into the obscure interior of the human form. For the first time, we could peer through flesh to bone without the intervention of the knife. That first ghostly image of his wife's hand, with its wedding ring floating around a skeletal finger, marked the beginning of our journey into the unseen. But X-rays offered only shadows and silhouettes, bones, and dense structures amid the darkness. The true revolution waited in the mysterious realm of magnetic resonance imaging. The MRI machine, that humming technological oracle, exploits the quantum behavior of hydrogen atoms in water, using powerful magnetic fields to force these atoms to reveal their positions. What makes this technology so baffling is that it doesn't just show structure, it reveals function. The magnetic poetry of proton alignment and relaxation creates astonishingly detailed maps of soft tissues, the brain, muscles, heart, and more, all without a single incision or ray of radiation. Perhaps most captivating is the functional MRI, or fMRI, which reveals not just the architecture of the brain, but watches it think in real time. This enchanting technology detects the subtle changes in blood flow that accompany neural activity, transforming thought itself into visible patterns of light and color. We can now watch as memories form, as decisions crystallize, as emotions bloom across the mysterious landscape of consciousness. And then, there's the CT scan, the computed tomography that spins X-rays around the body in a dizzying dance, capturing thousands of cross-sectional images that computers reassemble into three-dimensional portraits of unprecedented clarity. Modern CT scanners can visualize structures smaller than a grain of sand, revealing the most minute abnormalities lurking within our bodies. The latest frontier in this imaging revolution takes us deeper still to the molecular level. Positron emission tomography, or PET scanning, uses radioactive tracers that seek out specific molecular targets, illuminating not just organs but metabolic processes. Imagine watching cancer cells betray themselves through their hunger for glucose, glowing like malevolent stars against the backdrop of healthy tissue. These technologies have transformed diagnosis from an art of inference to a science of observation. Diseases that once announced themselves only in their advanced stages now whisper their presence to our machines long before symptoms appear. But seeing disease is merely prologue. The true transformation lies in our newfound ability to intervene with unprecedented precision. The evolution of surgery represents one of the most dramatic technological revolutions in medicine. Consider the perplexing journey from the days when surgeons operated with unwashed hands and patients endured procedures without anesthesia to today's operating rooms, sterile chambers, where robots execute maneuvers with micrometric precision. The most captivating symbol of this transformation is perhaps the Da Vinci surgical system, a marvel of engineering that translates a surgeon's hand movements into algorithms, filtering out natural tremors and scaling motions down to microscopic levels. The surgeon sits at a console, hands on controls, while robotic arms execute their commands with inhuman steadiness inside the patient's body. This robotic intermediary doesn't just replicate human capability, it transcends it. Tiny instruments can now reach spaces where human fingers could never venture, operating through incisions smaller than a centimeter. Cameras provide stereoscopic, high-definition views of the surgical field, magnified 10 times beyond normal vision. The mysterious result is a paradox. By physically removing the surgeon's hands from the patient, we've achieved a level of intimate precision previously unimaginable. Procedures that once required long incisions, significant blood loss, and weeks of recovery now leave barely perceptible scars and allow patients to return home within days or even hours. Equally enchanting is the world of microsurgery, where surgeons operate on structures as fine as blood vessels thinner than a human hair. Using microscopes that magnify their field of view up to 40 times, microsurgeons reconnect severed fingers, transplant faces, and reconstruct devastated tissues with bewildering delicacy. And now, augmented reality enters the surgical theater. Surgeons don headsets that overlay vital information directly onto their field of view patient data, preoperative scans, the precise location of critical structures hidden beneath visible surfaces. The physical and digital worlds merge, creating a hybrid reality where the invisible becomes visible, where surgeons can essentially see through tissue to the pathology beneath. Yet perhaps the most thought-provoking breakthroughs lie in the technologies we don't merely pass through our bodies, but leave behind within them. The history of implantable medical devices reveals our evolving relationship with technology, from external tools to intimate companions that become part of our very physiology. Consider the artificial heart, once a pipe dream, now a bridge that carries patients across the chasm between heart failure and transplantation. The latest ventricular assist devices operate with a continuous flow, creating the perplexing reality of patients who live without a pulse, a phenomenon that would have been considered the definition of death throughout most of human history. Cardiac pacemakers, once the size of hockey pucks requiring major surgery for implantation, have shrunk to devices smaller than a vitamin pill that can be delivered via catheter and anchored directly within the heart chambers. These miniature marvels adjust their activity based on your metabolic needs, accelerating when you exercise and slowing when you rest, silent guardians maintaining the rhythm of life. Even more baffling are the neural implants that forge direct connections between technology and the human nervous system. Deep brain stimulators deliver precisely calibrated electrical impulses to specific brain regions, quieting the tremors of Parkinson's disease or lifting the veil of treatment-resistant depression. They are electronic negotiators, mediating between the misfiring neurons of a disordered brain. The most captivating frontier may be the brain-computer interface, devices that translate neural activity into commands that control external technology. Patients with total paralysis can now type using only their thoughts, move robotic limbs with their minds, and communicate despite being unable to speak. These systems don't just compensate for lost function. They establish entirely new channels between consciousness and the outside world. For those who have lost their sight, artificial retinas now restore partial vision, converting camera images into electrical patterns that stimulate the remaining functional cells in damaged eyes. The recipients don't see the world as we do. They perceive patterns of light and dark that their brains must learn to interpret. But for many, this digital twilight is infinitely preferable to complete darkness. As we peer into the enigmatic future of medical technology, the boundaries between the possible and impossible continue to dissolve before our eyes. Consider the mysterious potential of 3D bioprinting technology that deposits living cells layer by layer to create functional human tissues and, eventually, complete organs. Labs around the world have already printed heart valves, sections of bone, patches of skin, and miniature organs for drug testing. The ultimate goal, A fully functional, transplantable human heart grown from a patient's own cells no longer seems like science fiction, but rather an engineering challenge awaiting solution. Equally perplexing is CRISPR gene editing molecular scissors that can cut DNA at precisely chosen locations, removing defective genes and inserting corrective sequences. This technology promises to rewrite the source code of humanity, potentially eliminating thousands of genetic diseases at their root. The ethical implications are as profound as the scientific achievement. When we can edit the human genome with the same facility that we edit text, what does it mean to be human? Then there's the captivating realm of medical nanotechnology machines, built at a scale of billionths of a meter, that could one day patrol our bloodstream. Removing plaque from artery walls, destroying cancer cells, delivering medications to specific tissues, and reporting diagnostic information in real time. These invisible agents would transform medicine from a reactive to a proactive enterprise, addressing disease at its earliest inception. The convergence of these technologies points toward a future where medicine becomes increasingly personalized, predictive, and preventive. Your treatment will be tailored to your unique genetic makeup, your individual risk factors, and the specific molecular characteristics of your disease. Your medications will be designed for your particular biochemistry, perhaps even manufactured on demand specifically for you. This is the enchanting promise of tomorrow's medicine, not just the absence of disease, but the optimization of human potential. The technologies we've explored today aren't just saving lives. They're redefining life itself, expanding the boundaries of human capability and longevity. As we conclude our journey through these medical marvels, we're left with questions as profound as the technologies themselves. Where does the human end and the machine begin when electronic devices regulate our most essential bodily functions? What does it mean to be natural in an age where our biology is increasingly programmable? Who will have access to these life-extending, capability-enhancing technologies, and what happens to those who don't? The most thought-provoking aspect of medical technology may not be the answers it provides, but the questions it forces us to ask. Each breakthrough carries us further into uncharted ethical territory, challenging our definitions of health, disease, disability, and enhancement. Yet amid these philosophical quandaries, one truth remains luminously clear. The mysterious journey of medical technology represents one of humanity's most noble endeavors, the application of our highest intelligence to relieve suffering, extend life, and expand human potential. The technologies we've explored today are more than mere tools. They are expressions of our deepest aspirations as a species, to understand our nature, to transcend our limitations, and ultimately to determine our own destiny. The future of medicine isn't just about living longer. It's about redefining what it means to be alive. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of medical technology breakthroughs, where science fiction and science fact dance in perpetual, mesmerizing exchange.